started. So, welcome everyone to the ISKCON Portland Srimad Bhagavatam class on Sunday morning. Let us start with reciting the Mangalacharan prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupa kada mahyam dadati swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutah Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. Okay, so we are here to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 14, verse number 5. Before we start, let us pay our respectful obeisances to all the personalities who brought the Srimad Bhagavatam to us. So I usually share this slide. Srila Shukadeva Goswami narrating Srimad Bhagavatam to Sri Parikshit Maharaj, and then the retelling of Srimad Bhagavatam by Srila Suta Goswami to Shaunakadi Rishis. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय. So let me share today's verse. Is it visible? Giving a yellow border around my screen share instead of green border.
If it be visible too, we can see the screen.
You could see it?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know why it shows a yellow. I stopped sharing. Let me try again. Still, for some reason, showing a yellow border. I don't know what that means.
But it looks fine to me. Yeah.
As long as you can see it, it works.
Yes.
I hope it's not changing the content or the verse.
Hopefully not. But yeah, we don't see that any difference.
No. Alteration of verses, huh? Okay. All right. So, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 14, verse number 5. I will recite a few times and devotees can try to recite after that. Nimittani atyarishthani kale tvanugate nrina lobhadya dharma prakritim drishtvo vachanujam nripa. Nimittani atyarishthani kale tvanugate nrina lobhadya dharma prakritim drishtvo vacha anujam nripa. One more time. Nimittani atyarishthani kale tva anugate nrinam lobhadiya dharma prakritim drishto vacha anujam nripa.
Yeah. निमित्तान्यतिरिष्टानि काले त्वनुगते नृणां लोभाद्यधर्म प्रकृतिं दृष्टो वाचानुजं नृपा. Thank you, Prabhu.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी। निमित्तानि अत्यरिष्टानि काले त्व अनुगते नृणां लोभादि अधर्म प्रकृतिं दृष्ट्वो वाचानुजं नृपः। थैंक यू प्रभु जी। हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु। हरे कृष्ण। निमित्तानि अत्यरिष्टानि काले त्व अनुगतेर्नाम लोहाद्य अधर्म प्रकृतिं दृष्टो च न अनुजं नृपाः। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Nimittani atyarishthani kale tvanugate nranam lobhadya dharma prakritim drashvo vachanujam nripaha. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी। निमित्तानि अत्यारिष्टानि काले त्वा अनुगते नृणं लोभादि अधर्म प्रकृतिं दृष्टो वाचानुजं नृपः। थैंक यू।
Thank you.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
Hare Krishna.
निमित्तानि अत्यरिष्टानि काले त्वनुगते नृणां लोभाद् यधर्म प्रकृतिं दृष्टो वाचानुजं नृपः। हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Everybody on the call recited the verse. That's very nice. Okay. We should feel very fortunate that we are getting the opportunity to recite Srimad Bhagavatam from our mouth. So that is Kirtana, Shravan and Kirtan. So we are hearing and then we are reciting. And in the brain, the wiring is that when you do Shravan and then Kirtan, it goes through the mind. So it leaves an imprint on the mind. Sometimes when we hear inattentively, then the mind is not there. It goes inside one ear and outside of the other one. So this way it leaves an imprint on the mind. So that's very nice. We should do Shravan. And even if we don't understand much, that's okay. And all of you recited nicely with the correct pronunciations and meter. And it adds a whole new level of interest and enthusiasm in reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, we'll go through the synonyms. Nimittani, causes. Ati, very serious. Arishtani, bad omens. Kale, in course of time. Tu, but. Anugate, passing away. Nrinam, of humanity at large. Lobhadi, as such as greed. Adharma, irreligious. Prakritim, habits. Drishtva, having observed. Uvacha, said. Anujam, younger brother. Nripaha, the king. So the translation is, in course of time, it came to pass that people in general become accustomed to greed, anger, pride, etc. Maharaj Yudhishthir, observing all these omens, spoke to his younger brother. So the breakdown is like this. Nimittani atyarishtani, the first line. So atyarishtani, so very serious bad omens were occurring. And we have seen this in previous classes on this chapter by various devotees. And he was wondering, who is the wondering? Nripaha. Who is the Nripa? The king, and this is occurring after the Mahabharata war. So the king is Yudhishthir Maharaj. So he is wondering the cause, nimitta, of these ati rishtani, bad omens, very serious bad omens. And then he does an analysis of this and comes out with a nice analysis. There is an intermediate cause, and then there is a ultimate cause. So the intermediate cause, so we'll see that kale ta anugate nrinam, that first is the kala, in course of time, passing away of humanity at large. So what is the cause? Is that humanity is going through this passage of kala or time. And then lobhadi adharma prakritim. Lobha adi. So lobha means greed, and that's why in the translation Srila Prabhupada translates as greed, anger, pride, etc. So even though specifically anger and pride are not there in the verse, they are part of the adi. So greed, anger, pride, etc. And various other irreligious things, adharma, which also includes all this greed, anger, pride, etc. And prakritim, so that is the nature of prakriti, or the nature of, that's the nature of material nature, you can say, or the just a behavior, or that's how the material nature works. So adharma is the sort of based on time, especially of Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga has begun, and the larger picture is Lord Krishna has departed. Arjuna has gone to Dwarka to meet Lord Krishna, but over there, Krishna has departed this world, and therefore Kali Yuga has begun. Kali Yuga begins after Lord Krishna's departure. So all these bad symptoms are beginning to be seen. So it is the nature of material nature, prakritim. Drishtva uvacha anujam ripaha. So he said this uvacha to his brother Anuja, who is the brother Bhima, because Arjuna is gone. So he's talking to Bhima, like, what is going on? On seeing all this, Drishtva uvacha anujam ripaha. So he said to his younger brother Bhima, he as in Ripaha, Yudhishthir Maharaj. So that's what's going on. So in summary, Yudhishthir Maharaj is seeing all these bad omens going on, and he is speaking to Bhima what is happening. And it's the passage of time is the cause. And due to adharma, which is comprising of lobha, adi, greed, anger, pride, etc. And that is the way the material nature works. So seeing all this, he speaks to Bhima. Purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Such a pious king as Maharaj Yudhishthir at once became perturbed when there were such inhuman symptoms as greed, anger, irreligiosity, and hypocrisy rampant in society. It appears from this statement that all these symptoms of degraded society were unknown to the people of the time. So today, if we see lobhadi, etc., nobody will be surprised. So in fact, it is credited as a characteristic of the material of today's world. You should be, if you work hard or if you do things, then you should, it's perfectly fine to have more and more and more. Lobha, greed for more and more. That's the fundamental fabric of capitalism. So it's not at all surprising. But since that was just the change of time from Dwapar Yuga to Kali Yuga, that's why Srila Prabhupada is writing that all these symptoms of degraded society were unknown to people of the time, of that time, not of today. And it was astonishing for them to have experienced them with the advent of the Kali Yuga, or the age of quarrel. Welcome, Jai Sachidanand Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
So, yeah, we are reading this verse, Canto 1, Chapter 14, verse number 5. So yes, lot of important things to be discussed here, as other devotees have discussed in the past verses. It's the same general theme which is continuing, that Lord Krishna has departed and the age of Kali has begun. And generally, these traits of greed, anger, pride, hypocrisy, irreligiosity, etc., that Srila Prabhupada is writing were unknown to people of the time. So what is the cause? So here, in the verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Yudhishthir Maharaj has already done a very nice analysis. So three things are being mentioned here. One is Kala, one is Prakriti, and then there is Lobha, Adi, and Adharma. So the bad omens are being seen. So that is the sort of the direct symptom, what is there in front of the eyes. Then the intermediate symptom that Yudhishthir Maharaj is bringing out is Lobha, Adi, Adharma. So he's also seeing that within the people, now there are bad omens, but also what is seen, if you do your analysis or one does an analysis, we see people are in general becoming more greedy, pride, and all these aspects of adharma are rising within the society. So that is the cause of these bad omens. And the ultimate cause that he analyzes are two, Prakriti and Kala. So these are the ultimate causes, that time is changing and it is the cycle of time, and Kali Yuga is arriving. Now Yudhishthir Maharaj does not know this yet, that Lord Krishna has departed. That's the whole point of this chapter, that he is he knows that that might have occurred, but he's just not ready to face that eventuality of the departure of Lord Shri Krishna. So Kala, time is taking its course, and along with it, Prakriti is changing to become just like this, full of adharma. So from here, we understand there are 2 points, 2 ultimate causes being mentioned, which is Kala and Prakriti. Kala and Prakriti are 2 of the 5 main topics of Bhagavad Gita also. We were discussing this in the last Sunday feast class. So there are 5 main topics of Bhagavad Gita: Jiva, Ishvara, Karma. So those were the 3, and then Kala and Prakriti. So 2 out of those 5 topics, the main topics of Bhagavad Gita, are very correctly being pointed out by Yudhishthir Maharaj as the cause of these bad omens that are being seen at the beginning of Kali Yuga, and which includes all these traits, as Srila Prabhupada has written: greed, anger, irreligiosity, hypocrisy, etc. So how do we, I just wanted to take the discussion in the direction of, so we know that these are the symptoms, or these are we see this kind of behaviors within people all around us. There is greed, anger, pride, envy, hypocrisy in all, in everyone except one person, which is ourselves. I am the best, of course, but everybody else to some degree is having some greed, some envy, some hypocrisy, etc., etc. So everybody is like this, everyone. And a more self-aware person will agree that he himself also is not free from these. So how do we overcome this? And it's very hard to overcome, given the causes cited by Yudhishthir Maharaj, that it is the Kala and Prakriti. It is the very nature of the fabric of time and space, so to say. Kala, Prakriti is time and space. So how can we even hope? It's like trying to be dry deep inside a swimming pool. You're within the fabric of being wet. You're surrounded by water on all sides, and you're trying to be dry. How at all is it possible? The fabric itself doesn't support it. Like, you try to draw a straight line on a curved surface. The surface itself is curved. How can there ever be a straight line? Straight line as in like in a, not in spherical coordinates, but in Cartesian coordinates. You cannot draw a straight line on a curved surface. It's just not possible. The fabric itself does not support it. So how do we do that? So in the Vedas, there is a very famous verse meant especially for Kali Yuga: Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. That may everybody be happy, sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaha. So nobody should have any kind of disease, illness, inauspiciousness in their life. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Whatever one sees, let it be full of auspiciousness. Abhadrani. You say, nashta prayeshu abhadreshu. So, bhadra means auspicious, abhadra means inauspicious. So, sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Ma kasyit dukha. Nobody. Ma means no, like ma shuchaha, do not worry. So, ma kasyit dukha bhag bhavet. Nobody should have to suffer any dukkha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So this is a Vedic verse, very famous, but it is impersonal. And there is a very nice verse. I don't know if you have seen. I just wanted to bring out this verse. So I was reading this book by Devaki Mataji. She had visited Portland a couple of years ago. Very nice devotee. I really liked her whole mood and classes. And then she had a book, a couple of books, I forget which one. I think it was called Relationships or something like that. And within that, there was a chapter on envy. And within that, she cited this verse. And I had read this verse before in the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is sort of considered like a reflective verse to this other verse, Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, Sarve santu niramayah, Sarve bhadrani pashyantu ma kasyid dukha bhag bhavet. So this verse is like the Bhagavatam version of it. And the first line itself is very sweet. Swastyastu vishwasya khalah prasidatam. So the Devaki Mataji's book, that particular chapter starts with this verse. She quotes this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. So I liked it very much. And it's a very famous verse. I had heard it before, but then I got reminded of it. And so the verse is Swastyastu Vishwasya Khalah Prasidatam Dhyayantu Bhutani Shivam Mithodhiya Manascha Bhadram Bhajatadadhokshaje Aveshyatam no Matirapyahetuki. Very beautiful meaning. So the first line is Swasti Ashtu Vishwasya Khalah Prasidatam. That you let there be Swasti Astu Vishwasya in the entire universe. Let there be what? Auspiciousness. For whom? Khalah, for the envious. And Srila Prabhupada and Devaki Mataji points out that very nicely Srila Prabhupada puts this in brackets. Envious means almost everyone. So pretty much everyone in today's world falls in this category of Khalaha, including myself. Prasidatam, let them be pacified. So same thing, like Sarve bhadrani pashyantu or Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. Now comes the next parts of this verse. Dhyayantu bhutani shivam mithodhiya. So all the living entities should experience auspiciousness. Then comes Manash cha Bhadram. How that happens? That will not just happen by chanting Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I mean, it may happen, but from our perspective, it happens by Bhajatad Adhokshaje. So by doing bhajan of Lord Krishna. Adhokshaja is Krishna. So Manascha Bhadram, the mind should become calm from all these things like anger, pride, greed, irreligiosity, hypocrisy, etc., etc., by doing bhajan of Adhokshaja. Manascha Bhadram Bhajatad Adhokshaje Aveshyatam no Matir Apyahaituki. and let it be completely absorbed in the mind. Mati should be completely absorbed in adhokshaja, but also ahaituki, without any motive or without any material motive. In the purport of this verse, Srila Prabhupada makes this point very clear that it's not that there is no motive. There is a motive, but there is no material motive. So this verse is the solution, or I mean, there are many such verses that we will find as a solution to the problems of Kali Yuga. I just happened to be reading that book by Devaki Mataji. I got reminded of this verse, and I thought I will use this verse to make the point of what is the solution in Kali Yuga, because we are living in that fabric itself of time, Kala, and Prakriti. How can we at all hope to remain shielded from the effects, the natural effects of the time and place and circumstance of Kali Yuga? So we can shield ourselves from those negative effects by manascha bhadram bhajatad adhokshaje. Avishetam no matir api ahaituki. By ahaituki bhajan of Lord Krishna, we can hope to shield ourselves. And that is the prayer. In the same mood, may all be happy. Swasti astu vishwasya khalah prasidhatam. Dhyayantu bhutani, all living entities who are khalaha, may they be pacified, may they be calmed down, and may their intelligence be invested in ahaituki bhajan of Krishna. So, in the purport of this verse, so I just wanted to ask, had anybody heard this verse before or memorized it, or was anybody already familiar with this? It's a very beautiful verse from the Bhagavatam.
Well, I've heard it before, but not memorized it though. Maybe it's a good time to memorize too. Yeah, thank you.
Where did you hear, or like in what context, or?
In like classes, student classes, different classes with devotees.
I see.
That process, yeah, versus regarding talk of envy, of auspiciousness, all these kind of tags, you could say. I'll put it this verse.
Very nice. Anybody else had heard this before?
I only heard the Vedic version. I mean, the earlier version that you mentioned.
Sarve bhavantu sukhinaha.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one is very famous.
Yeah, it was in our Devanagari class.
Okay. I think it was recited in the beginning of the Mahabharat series that happened, when it also recited the Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya. I mean, that was popularized by that TV series. I think Sarve, this was also there towards the end, when the closing, things were happening, when the serial would end. Then this was, I think, somehow, because it got very popularized through TV. Anyway, okay. Anybody else had heard this verse?
Yeah, Prabhu, Hare Krishna. From Patanjali Guru also, that sloka is there. Mohakasya Dukkha Bhargave. That poem is reciting always while yoga classes.
Yeah, I'm talking about this one though. Yes, the other one is very popular. But
Yeah.
this Bhagavatam verse is my question. Had anybody heard this one before?
Yeah, Prabhu.
Okay. So let us dive a little bit deeper into this verse as the solution. And one of the things that is mentioned about this verse in the commentary of Srila Sridhar Swami is that this verse is mainly for the khalas. Now, Sridhar Swami does not take such a strong stance as Prabhupada ji. Srila Prabhupada, where he's writing almost everyone, but he's saying this verse is for basically the envious people or the villains in the society. And this verse basically is being spoken by Prahlad Maharaj. So in the 5th canto, there are very wonderful prayers by Prahlad Maharaj. And we can imagine Prahlad Maharaj is facing one of the biggest demoniac people in his life, who is out to get him, his own father, Hiranyakashipu. So in that mood, Prahlad Maharaj is speaking this verse that may all colors, all the villains, all the demons of the world be pacified, may they be, their consciousness become auspicious, may they invest their mind in bhajan of Lord Krishna. So the point that is being made by Sridhar Swami is that the color, this verse is especially meant for the colors, for the demoniac people, and for their benefit. Prahlad Maharaj is speaking this verse. So now it applies, I guess, like according to Srila Prabhupada, it applies to all of humanity in the present time. So here there are some points I wanted to bring out in this verse. Here, Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavat Dharma are meant for persons who are completely free of envy. And Parama Nirmatsaranam. So this is from the 2nd verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj prays in this verse, Khalaha Prasidatam, may all the envious persons be pacified. Then Srila Prabhupada goes on to say, the world is full of envious persons. But if one frees himself of envy, he becomes liberal in his social dealings and can think of others' welfare. And anyone who takes up Krishna consciousness as engaging himself completely in the service of the Lord cleanses his mind of all envy. Manascha bhadram bhajata dadhokshaje. So by investing the mind in Krishna, all the dirt in the mind can be cleaned. Therefore, we should pray to Lord Narsingha to sit in our hearts. We should pray Bahir Narsingho, Hridaye Narsingho. Let Lord Narsingha sit in the core of my heart, killing all my bad propensities. Let my mind become clean so that I may peacefully worship the Lord and bring peace to the entire world. So, this verse is basically, like it is being said, for the demons, but all people in the material world today in Kali Yuga are of demoniac nature. And this is the solution for the devotees to apply to themselves and to wish this upon everyone. So as devotees, not only we care for ourselves, but we care for for all living entities. May everybody become a devotee of the Lord and be shielded from this inherent inauspicious nature of Kali Yuga. Then there is another sort of point that is being brought out, which is of asking for some benefit. So even though right in the verse there is the word ahaituki, no motive, but the beginning of the verse there is a motive. What is the motive? That swasti astu vishwasya khalaha prasidhatam, that let there be auspiciousness in the entire Vishwa, in the entire universe. Let everybody be calm and peaceful and happy in the entire universe. So there is a motive, but in the next 2 lines, the same prayer by Prahlad Maharaj is saying that one should fix his mind on Krishna without any motive. So how do we reconcile this apparent contradiction? That on one hand we say it is without a motive, and on the other hand we are asking for some benediction. So the answer is very simple, that when it says ahaituki, it means that there is no material motive. A spiritual motive or a devotional motive is perfectly fine. And a material motive, even a spiritual motive, and that's why there is a slight difference between a devotional motive and a spiritual motive. The impersonalist will also desire a spiritual motive, but his desire could be to get liberated from this material world, which is a spiritual motive. Liberation is a spiritual motive, but for the purpose of becoming free from the suffering that the material world brings. However, the devotee does not care for his suffering or the ending of his suffering. The devotee cares to simply serve the Lord, whether he is here in the material world or in the spiritual world. And he is requesting the Lord to uplift him from the bad propensities of the material world so that he can serve the Lord. Where he is serving is completely immaterial, but the purity of the service matters to the devotee. He wants to serve the Lord with a pure heart, with no abhadras, no inauspicious desires in his heart. So he is requesting the Lord to cleanse all the abhadras in the heart, to make his heart clean, not so that he can enjoy. That is not the purpose. This is the difference between a Mayavadi or an impersonalist versus a personalist. There is the seva aspect, which makes a big difference, that there is no seva in the impersonal liberation. Whereas a devotee only wants to serve the Lord, and for that, he wants to clean his heart. Just like, if you want to clean the house, you should start with a clean cloth. If you start cleaning the house with a dirty cloth, it won't become clean. The dirt from the cloth will transfer rather to the house or to the object you're trying to clean. So first you have to start with a clean cloth and then hope to clean the house or the table or whatever you're trying to clean. So all that the devotee is asking for is a clean heart, so that he can use it to serve the Lord. So that is the difference. So there is a desire to ask for something, but the end goal is to serve the Lord. And that makes it a haituki. So this is the sort of the summary, and let's read very nicely what Srila Prabhupada has written here. So he's again giving full credit to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And he is saying that Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has given us a very fine purport in this regard. Whenever one offers a prayer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one always requests some benediction from him. Even pure Nishkama devotees pray for some benediction, as instructed by none other than Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself in his Shikshashtaka. Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavam budau kripaya tava pada pankaja sthita dhuli sadrisham vichintaya. O son of Maharaj Nanda, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or the other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from the ocean of death. That's the request for a benediction. And place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. That sounds like a ask or some kind of a request. Please lift me up from here and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. But The understanding here is that lift me up from this ocean of death means lift me up from these material propensities of sense enjoyment for my own pleasure, and then place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet means so that I can serve you. I can serve your lotus feet. Otherwise, he would have said, place me as an atom on your head so that I can dance on your head. So that's not what is being asked for. He's not asking to sit on the Lord's head, but as a sit at the Lord's feet. What do you do at the feet? You serve the feet. If you sit on the head, you dance on their head. So that's not the ask. In another prayer, Lord Chaitanya says, Mama Janmani Janmanishware Bhavatad Bhaktir Ahaituki Tvai. So this is where he's clarifying life after life. Now, if one is in the spiritual world, there is no life or there is no point of saying Janma Janmanishware. What is Janma? And after that, another Janma and Janma and Janma repeated birth. That doesn't make sense for a liberated entity. So here he is saying that all I want, I'm not interested in liberation. Even if I have to live in the material world and go through several bodies and several lives and several births and deaths, all I want is bhakti. What kind of bhakti? Ahaituki bhakti. Life after life, kindly let me have unalloyed love and devotion at your Lordship's lotus feet. When Prahlad Maharaj, so Srila Prabhupada is giving example and counterexample to make the point. Even Prahlad Maharaj is saying has a motive. When Prahlad Maharaj chants Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya, he is praying for the benediction from the Lord that please accept my prayer. Basically, that is the benediction. But he prays for benediction from the Lord, but because he is also an exalted Vaishnava, he wants nothing for his personal sense gratification. The first desire in this prayer is Swasti Astu Vishwasya, not Aham, but Vishwasya. He is asking for the good fortune of everybody else throughout the universe. Prahlad Maharaj thus requested the Lord to be merciful to everyone, including his father. That was his first wish, that let my father, who was a most envious person, to be liberated. According to Chanakya Pandit, there are two kinds of living entities. One is a snake and another is a man like Hiranyakashipu, who is by nature envious of everyone, even of his father or son, just like Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu was envious of his little son Prahlad, but Prahlad Maharaj asked a benediction for the benefit of his father. Hiranyakashipu was very envious of devotees, but Prahlad wished that his father and other demons like him would give up their envious nature by the grace of the Lord and stop harassing the devotees. Khalaha prasidatam, let them become pacified. All these khalahas, all these demons, let them be pacified. The difficulty is that the khala, envious living entity, is rarely pacified, especially in Kali Yuga. One kind of khala, the snake, can be pacified simply by mantras or by an action of a particular herb. So that animal snake, not a snake-like person or a human, the animal or that reptile can be pacified. And that's what is being said here by two means, mantra and aushadhi. The act of a mantra or the act of a herb. Vashah sarpah khalakena nivaryate. So uska nivaran ho jata hai. It can be, the problem can be solved by of this khala, of this envious snake, khalakena sarpah, by the effect, vashaha, of the mantra and aushadhi, or mantra or aushadhi. An envious person, however, cannot be pacified by any means. So no mantra works, no aushadhi, no herb works. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj prays that all envious persons may undergo a change of heart and think of the welfare of others. So that prayer is meant especially for the khalas of which is everyone, like Srila Prabhupada is saying, in this world. And that has the hope of protecting one from the ill effects of Kala and Prakriti of Kali Yuga, under whose influence we are all there today. So that is the point I wanted to make from this discussion today. So to summarize, I have a couple of more things that I could go on, but I wanted to pause, summarize, and see if there is some discussion. I could do more discussion, but that will probably spill over and go beyond the time limit. Today we have the recitation of Bhagavad Gita for the upcoming appearance day of Sri Bhagavad Gita on Wednesday. So we are celebrating in our temple by reciting the Bhagavad Gita that starts at 10 a.m. today. So I think devotees want to be at the temple on time. So the summary is that of this verse today, 1.14.5, is that Nimittani atyarishtani kale tva anugate nram lobhadi adharma prakritim drishtvo vacha anujam nripaha. In course of time, it came to pass that people in general become accustomed to greed, anger, pride, etc. Maharaj Yudhishthir, observing all these omens, spoke to his younger brother. So Maharaj Yudhishthir is observing all these bad omens, and he is identifying the very fabric of Kali Yuga as the cause, Kala and Prakriti, as the cause of Lobha Adi and all the other adharmic propensities, which in turn are leading to these direct symptoms of or ominous symptoms. And how do we, then we discussed, how can we protect ourselves from the very fabric in which we are living? And as devotees, we not only care about protecting ourselves, but about protecting everyone. And this verse provides a very good solution, which is to pray in this mood of asking the Lord to benefit all living entities, especially the demoniac ones, the envious ones, the kalahas, so that they can become purified by manascha bhadram bhajatad adhokshaje. Their minds can be purified by investing them in bhajan of Lord Krishna, aveshyatam, by investing their mind, no matir, in a ahaituki way, in a completely unmotivated way. And unmotivated does not mean that there's a very nice, this paragraph we went over, where unmotivated does not mean, even in devotional prayer, there is a motivation, but it is not material motivation. It's not for reducing our suffering or increasing our happiness. First of all, it is for everyone, not just for ourselves. And plus, the main idea is to serve the Lord. Janma Janmanishware. Doesn't matter where we are serving, we should serve with a pure heart, with a clean heart. And that is the request, so that we can do our service to the Lord in a better way, within a more pure way. So we are asking, and we don't have the capacity. A dirty cloth cannot clean a dirty cloth, or dipping a dirty cloth in dirty water will not make it clean. To clean a dirty cloth, you have to dip it in clean water. We don't have clean water. And that's the request to the Lord. Please clean our heart so that we can serve you nicely. That is the ahituki meaning. Even though there is some hetu, still that is ahituki. So we will stop here for today. It's 8:59, and I see if there are any comments, questions, corrections by devotees.
Thank you, Prabhu, for speaking on this verse and extending to what should be our mood, which is to pray for the grace of Sri Krishna to help remove some of these qualities. I thought it was very interesting how Srila Prabhupada said that not only did Yudhishthira Maharaj see that these traits were coming into society in general, but also how people become accustomed to such quality, such things. It's very insidious. It comes in subtly, but one gets used to it. This greed, anger, and pride. So that was an interesting way that Srila Prabhupada added. I guess he views Prakritim as habits, so I think that's how he's doing this. So that, and then talking about 5.18.9. It's such an elevated quality of Prahlad Maharaj that even though facing such envy from his father, he's still able to pray for the removal of these qualities in all living beings through the grace of Sri Krishna Bhagavan. So nice. I'm always impressed by how Maharaj Yudhishthira, such a saintly personality, due to his intense Krishna consciousness, he can see qualities coming into society and immediately realize that it has something to do with Sri Krishna's absence, because in his presence, society will be very in the mode of, sattva, guna, and in a satya yuga essentially. But in his absence, these other things from Kali Yuga will come in. I guess the instruction for us is, if attachment and awareness of Sri Krishna Bhagavan is in our hearts, then we can also be in Satya Yuga. And if it's absent, then we immediately will come into Kali Yuga. So a lot of wonderful, understanding can come from this in many aspects. Thank you for sharing the prayer. I think I remember hearing 5.18.9, I think during, I think it was during COVID time, because I recall John V. Harrison singing that in some like little short clip. So thank you. Do other devotees have comments, questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much for the wonderful class, Prabhu. Thank you for going straight to the marmasthan, straight to the point of how to avoid, how to be free from lobha adi, as you mentioned, by quoting Sri Prahlad Maharaj was true. When you said kala, the word, I immediately thought of Damodar pastime. It's called Urukhala in Bhagavatam. So I was wearing the Urukhala pastime, and I was reading recently with my mom about Kapada Damodar. Haripash Prabhu wrote some 8 verses. How the similarity between Damodar's pastime and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he quotes, uses that particular word couple of times to bring out the similarity between the two Leela. I just thought of that color that when Prabhuji translates as ruffian, usually. Ruffian. But and I thought about the 5.18.9 was, as I mentioned, very beautiful, and Prahlad Maharaj mentioned that the answer, there can be auspiciousness when there is meditation upon Adhokshaja. he gives the answer very beautifully. That just, and as I mentioned, the other verse from the Vedas is more impersonal. That just says, okay, everything be all right, auspicious, everything, but doesn't tell how, right? But you beautifully pointed to very beautiful mirror verse from Bhagavatam, and the other thing which I can think of is how Vedas talk about in Parokshavad, in a mysterious way, mystical way, but then Bhagavatam points out it very, very makes it the Bhashya, Vyasdeva very beautifully pointed out very nicely the commentary on the particular verse of, we could say, Vedas, how Bhagavatam is essence. So I have a question, Prabhu. I'm saying thank you so much, Prabhu, for bringing these wonderful points. So in the Purple Prabhu 114.5, Prabhupada writes that all these negative qualities are unknown to people of the time, but we see when Krishna was there and previous to that, so many people have these qualities: greed, envy. They had, and they were, people had qualities when Krishna was present himself in the earth, on the earth. So what do you, could you explain to what is mean by, what does Prabhupada mean by were unknown to people at the time? And of course it was known. So is there any deeper significance or something different meaning to that particular statement too? Thank you, Prabhu.
My understanding in this is, and other devotees please add to it, is that this was not a general symptom of the society. So all these symptoms of degraded society, it was more like, I mean, today, let's just say a very gross thing of cannibalism. Are there few cannibals in today's world? Perhaps yes. But that's not a symptom of society. But if, let us say, it becomes one day like that, then you would say that in 2024, it is unknown to the people of the time. So we are reading those pastimes, especially in Bhagavatam or Mahabharata, etc. Those are focused on that. So if you read that, we must keep in mind that the reason why they are mentioned in the Bhagavatam or Mahabharata is because they were so extreme that they found their way into these timeless scriptures to make us understand, to make us learn. But we must not forget that there is this vast society which exists, which is in general very pious. Obviously less pious than Treta Yuga, which is further less pious than Satyuga. So there is degradation that is occurring, but not at the level that we see in Kali Yuga. So that is my understanding, that there are these pockets, but we don't see that as a overall symptom of society. I think another analogy I can draw is maybe like, I went to India 2 months back, to some of those places where I used to live. The number of, for example, non-vegetarian restaurants has just like, I mean, it was hard to find a pure veg place in some places. Whereas I remember 30 years ago, it would be hard to find a place where you can get some non-veg. I mean, not that I ever had non-veg, but I'm just saying it, you could just close your eyes and go. I mean, it's like, so I could, in 20, 30 years, I could see at a societal level itself, or at, you can say whatever, that local society level, things have changed. So I think that is what is being mentioned here by Maharaj Yudhishthir and Srila Prabhupada.
Yep, yeah, makes sense. So thanks so much. The abnormal is a new normal.
Yes, exactly. Normalities were there, but they were not the normal. Now abnormality is the norm.
Yeah, makes sense. So thank you so much. Very beautiful. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much. This is a very enlightening lecture. And yes, Gita Jayseshan Prabhu mentioned about Janvi Mataji's small performance. I remember now too hearing this verse. Yeah, it all comes back now. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Very nice. If any of you have a link, please send me. I would love to. She sings very sweetly, and I would love to see this verse being sung by her. So if at all you have come across it again, please send me.
Definitely, Prabhu. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, let us close it here. We are 10 minutes over. Thank you so much for your audience and for letting me do this very purifying seva of going into Srimad Bhagavatam and trying to understand it so that I can say something meaningful. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Please join at temple for Gita recitation. Thank you.